What's going on, guys? Chuck back with another awesome Blu-ray purchase, and today's is something. Well, it's not new. This is an old release. Actually, I think it's like been quite a few years since it came out, but I'm just now getting a hold of it, and that is a little film called "Welcome Home, Brother Charles." This is from Vinegar Syndrome. Again, this has been out for quite a few years. This is not anything new release, just something new I picked up. And this also has a bonus feature, MMA. Welcome Home, Brother Charles is a film that I knew only from seeing its trailer and one of the many trailer compilations that I have. And the trailer piqued my interest. There's nothing really special about the trailer necessarily. It's in a lot of ways it's your basic, blaxsploitation trailer. The whole premise of it, you have Charles, who is, and it's like from the trailer, he's in prison. He's, done wrong by the man, and now he's basically, is coming back from prison and, gonna seek justice, or your basic, kind of almost like blaxploitation trope in a lot of ways. Some things that really stuck out from the trailer is the narrator saying, things like, was it a film that shows it, how it is and how some think it should be, whatever that means. I'm not really quite sure. But what really stuck out to me was throughout this trailer, they cut to the title card in the middle of it, and it's a simple voice, "Welcome home, Brother Charles." And it's just the way he says that. It always, "Welcome home, Brother Charles." And that's not even doing it justice, but it's the tone in that is just always grabbed me, and there's something about that. And in that trailer, there, to me, was a kind of hint of mystery. And you're like, mystery? Well, you pretty much threw it out there to be true. But something about the trailer says there's something going on in this film that's not explained. Just the way they cut it, with the cut to "Welcome Home, Brother Charles," and going back to the what's going on, to the action in the film. And it seems like there's more in here, but what is it? I don't know. But it did its job in intriguing me. Maybe want to see it. But again, I just saw it on a trailer compilation. Where am I going to find it? It wasn't. It's funny. I mean, and then later on, I kind of heard the premise. I listened to a particular podcast years ago, and who did this, and kind of gave away the secret, if you will. But I don't really think too much about it. But it was just like, I still got to check that out. I just got to see that. And then I kind of forgot about it a few years later. But here recently, it's kind of been brought back up through ways of, actually, I kind of brought it up. And I was on the Grindbin Podcast a little while back. We were covering the film Hollywood Nights. And somehow along the way, we got discussing, somehow I brought this film up. I don't know how or why. But it got brought up. And then just recently, they did an episode on Penitentiary, the film Penitentiary, directed by Jamal Fanaka. And why is that important? Well, Welcome Home, Brother Charles, I almost said it like the narrator, Welcome Home, Brother Charles was Jamal Fanaka's first movie. So it kind of came back around, they brought it up, and it got me thinking about it again. And I went and checked it out, and I forgot that Vinegar Syndrome did have it. So I said, what the heck, I'm going to pick it up. And I did. Oh, another thing about this film, watching it, you realize right away it's not very good. The acting isn't very good. The exception of the lead, Charles, played by Marlo Monte. He's actually not too bad. He's probably the most credible performance in this film, especially for what he has to do later on. But the rest of it's very amateurish, very low budget. And you look at it and say, wow, that's just a really badly made film. But if you go back and when you realized that Jamal Fanaka directed this, again, he was well known for the Penitentiary series mostly, which I just actually purchased Penitentiary 1 and 2 based on the Grindbin recommendation and podcast. So I've yet to check those out, but I've heard a lot of good things about those. I actually got 2. I'm waiting for 1. It's on its way. But this film was being his first. He actually did while he was in film school. So when you hear that, you realize, okay, it may not look good, but the fact he was in film school and did this and actually got it distributed, hey, hats off to you. Kudos. That's pretty freaking awesome. I mean, it's hard enough to make a film in general. But around 1974, 75, when this came out, and you're in film school and you get your film released in theaters, hey, hats off to you. That's pretty damn good. So, welcome home, Brother Charles. Let's talk about it. It starts off, you've got, basically Charles. He's your typical, which is, the cliche for blaxploitation films at the time. He's a drug dealer, apparently. And him and a friend get busted by some cops, and one of them, is extremely racist, excuse me. And, they capture Charles, and this guy is basically beating him. He's just, abusive to him, at the point where he actually tries to castrate Charles. And that becomes a issue later on. Charles goes to prison for like 5 years, comes back, and he decides to be straight and narrow. He doesn't want anything to do with that life that got him in prison. He had a lot of time to sit and stew. And they do a really good, kind of artsy montage while he, showing him his time in prison, where he's reflecting, yes, and it's done fairly well, with a lot of black and white imagery and like still shots kind of shown, almost in some ways kind of documentary-like. So he comes back and he finds the friend that he had is now stolen his girl. He's become a high top, pimp owner of a strip club. His brother's getting involved with these, the low lives in town. He doesn't want that to happen. He does, meet a woman, a former prostitute, who's basically, he's straightened out. Now they're, having a good life. So, welcome home, Brother Charles. I guess this is what you got. But he still has revenge issues, and he finds, the people who wronged the judge, the cop who beat him, the cops, actually, the guy's partner, the original cop who was the prejudiced one. He had a partner who was a little nicer, but still turned a blind eye to what was going on. So Charles decides he's going to get revenge on these people. And the way he goes about it is starting with the original cop that basically beat him and tried to castrate him. He goes to the guy's house and seduces the cop's wife. Now, how he does this is interesting, because he comes in, I think, impersonating like a phone guy, a phone repairman, which is something that no one knows what that is anymore because no one has landlines. And then he shows the cop's wife his manhood, if you will, and she is instantly entranced. And he has his way with her, and from that point, she's hypnotized by Charles. I don't have an explanation how this happens or what this is, but so she is under his control, and from that point, he's able to get her husband, and he kills her husband. Now, they don't really show what happens, but it looked like it had a lot of strain on Charles, because you see the close up on his face. He's all sweating, he's grimacing really tight, and his face is all contorted. He's really, he's like squeezing really hard, but all you see is his face. And that's it. This guy dies. So it's kind of weird, But that's basically, Charles is getting his revenge. Somehow he's killing these people. It's hard to go into too much without giving too much away. So I'm going to say right now, this is a spoiler. So if you've never seen this or you know anything about it, I'm going to tell you, and you want to see it, stop it right now. Go check it out. If you don't get the YouTube or get the Blu-ray, I believe it's actually on YouTube. You can check it out for the surprise. So stop this now. Go check it out, and then come back. For the rest of you, Charles has this. He gets somehow in prison while he was there reflecting on his time. I don't really know. Honestly, I had a hard time grasping how this even happened. But he got a power to grow his penis to ginormous lengths. Like boa constrictor size, and use it as a weapon. You can't, well, I guess you can't make this stuff up. But that's what somehow he also has the power to hypnotize his women with his penis or something after he has sex with them. But then he also, can grow it and wrap it around a person's neck like a boa constrictor and basically strangle them to death. And the crazy part about this is it's not implied, or it is the first time. The second time, when he's going out, he kills. There's the cop first. I think he's the crooked, or not crooked, but he gets the lawyer that put him away. I believe it was. And they actually show the shot from behind Charles. You see, like, you're looking at his, basically from behind, and his legs are cut spread, and you see all of a sudden the penis is dropping from his legs. It literally is just stretching down, and it's creeping out, and it's wrapping itself around this guy's neck and strangling him. And that's when Charles is all sweaty and he's grimacing. He's squeezing really hard. It's so weird. I mean, weird. Again, especially going back to that trailer, because the trailer indicates nothing of that. Again, the trailer seems basically, a black man arrested by a prejudiced white cop, goes to jail, comes back for revenge. That's basically the trailer. He's come back to wrong or right wrongs that were done to him. There's no mention of a boa constrictor penis in the trailer. So that's your big shot. And again, it's so weird because for the first part of this movie, it's basically played like a typical, I say typical. Honestly, to be perfectly honest, I have not seen a whole lot of blaxploitation. I'm just familiar with them from other reviews and books I've read and clips here and there. So I've actually seen a whole lot myself. But from all that, the trope is basically the same. It plays out like you expect. A black man wronged by the police, like I said, prejudice system, comes back, wants to get back at the man, which the term they use a lot, the man, and that's it. How boa constrictor anaconda-sized killer penises get involved is beyond me. I don't understand. It's just so out there. Because like I said, it's pretty much played straight, for the most part. And then this reveal comes really out of nowhere. There's nothing leading up to it to really imply other than that little montage of him being in jail. And later on you have a psychiatrist kind of explain this a bit, which I still didn't quite get. But it just is. And that's the freaky thing. To me, in some ways, it's almost like if you read just a random, like a lot of Stephen King, like short stories, or any kind of short stories, horror stories that basically just happen. There's no rhyme or reason. These things are just quick, short stories. You know, it'd be like a really weird X-rated Twilight Zone. You know, man with a killer penis. That you. Yeah. So, and from there, he's kind of caught the not quite bad cop is basically kind of discovers what's going on and confronts Charles and basically has a chase to a rooftop building. This is kind of where the movie starts. Movie starts at this point and then kind of flashes back and leads you up to this. And Charles is on the edge of the roof threatening to jump, and the cops are, I'm just trying to help you, and they call his wife, girlfriend. I think he calls her wife, but they never really stated they got married, to try and talk him down. And it kind of just ends there. It's got a really weird ending that doesn't really solve or anything or I don't know, conclude anything. It just ends. Again, she's on the roof. She's trying to talk. She just kind of stares at him. They're staring at each other, and it sounds like she just screams "jump," and then it freeze frame. There's a quote which I can't remember off the top of my head, and then that's your movie. You don't know, did he jump? Did he survive? Did he jump and his penis saved him from the fall? I don't know. Did he use it as a rope and swing away? I don't know. These things are never answered. It just ends on this freeze frame of the woman screaming, and it's so... The movie's just weird. Again, because it's so disjointed. But because of that, it's almost like train wreck car wreck. It's so messed up, you just gotta watch it. I don't know how well known this is, honestly. Like I said, I never would have heard about it had seen that trailer. But obviously, it's well known enough for Vinegar Syndrome to put this out. And again, Jamal Fanaka is had a good, well known for the Penitentiary series, which I say they put out also. So he has some claim to fame, if you will. And this being his first film and done while he was in film school, it's worth a look for what can be done, when you put your mind to it. And I just, what I would love? I would love for the actors, I would love to see the reaction of them reading the script of this and saying, oh, wow, man staring at someone with a giant penis, sign me up. I'm in for that movie. I want to be a part of this. Again, it's just so crazy. I can't stress that enough. But overall, is it a fun watch? It's hard. Like I said, it's not acted very well. Some of the scenes are just like, you can tell it's very amateurish. But again, it gets kind of a pass because of knowing how it was made. But if you don't know the ending and you're coming just watching it cold, not knowing anything about it, that'd be interesting actually, because I knew what was coming. I was just waiting for that. At this point, I'm just slogging through the movie, waiting for that reveal because I just got to see how crazy this is. So that made it a little more easier to get through, I guess. If you have no clue and you're just jumping in at cold and saying, I'll watch a blaxploitation film, Welcome Home, Brother Charles, that sounds cool, let's watch that. And you don't know, that'd be interesting. That would be an interesting way to watch the film. I kind of wish I wasn't spoiled by that before seeing this. But at the same time, if I did know about it, I may not bother to check it out. Even that trailer kind of piqued my curiosity. But it will be interesting, I imagine, not knowing what's going on, going cold, it's probably a bit of a slog to get through. It's kind of, But then, I think it would pique your interest with that first kill. Or, Charles getting revenge and seeing what's this about? What's he going? That's when you're kind of, going, okay, this seems a little different, but what is it they're doing? Because, it's kind of a mystery. And I can just imagine how crazy it is. You'd find that reveal for the first time if you didn't know it was coming. It would blow your mind. Even knowing it's there, when you actually see what happens, it's mind blowing. But my recommendation, I don't know. If you're into blaxploitation films and crazy weird ones, I don't know. Again, I'm not really well versed in blaxploitation films. Haven't seen a whole lot of them. I need to rectify that. Honestly, there's a lot of good ones there I want to check out. Obviously, this is not one of the more well-known ones, and this is like 75. So I'm not sure that's like the high or low end of the spectrum of, or the peak of when that was blaxploitation was a thing. But I think this is one of the lesser known ones because they don't really hear talk about too much at all, really. And so that definitely not gonna be any best ofs. But I think it's worth a watch for the curiosity factor, if nothing else. As a movie in general, it is what it is, and what it is isn't too much. But I think it's worth checking out for the curiosity factor and just for the wow, what the fuck, so there you go. So that's it. Welcome home, Brother Charles. And again, I highly recommend checking out this trailer because the trailer is just so. It always sticks with me, even this day. Again, and it's on here, in some TV spots on this nice Blu-ray DVD combo, I believe it is. If I remember right. Yeah, Blu-ray DVD combo. From Vinegar Syndrome, and I actually got this one from Amazon, so they are still available at a fairly cheap price if you're looking for it. But again, I think it's also available on YouTube if you don't want to, spring for this. But yeah, check out that trailer. At least find that trailer on YouTube. And again, listen to Welcome Home, Brother Charles. That that guy. It's right there, I think, with again Jamal Tanaka's Penitentiary. That very, very dramatic narrators for his trailers, clearly. But yeah, so Welcome Home, Brother Charles. Check it out. If nothing else, check it out for the ending. Be mesmerized and wonder how to get all that in his pants. What else can I say? If you enjoy this, click thumbs up, share, subscribe, leave me a comment below. Let me know if you've seen Welcome Home, Brother Charles. And I haven't seen MMA yet. I'm going to check that one out here soon. But, this is basically bought for Welcome Home, Brother Charles. So let me know if you've seen this, what your favorite blaxploitation film is, what your thoughts are on killer anaconda-like penises. I don't... Actually, you know what? I don't even want to hear that. Just save those comments for yourself. Or just say hi. I'll always say hi. So until next time, this is Chuck saying I will see you on the other side.